Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our 10th draw here at the Potomac Curling Club hosting the Mid-Atlantic Women's Bonspiel. We are bringing you live coverage of our C event quarterfinals on all 4 sheets. Our feature game is Fox from CCVA versus Heuer from Potomac.
We're curling now.
Absolutely.
So sort of midway through this first end. Oh, no. Our overhead monitor is malfunctioning.
We're going to have a bit of a hum.
Yeah. This is stellar 1984 era technology we have for our house cams.
I think you might be a little generous there, Melvin.
Maybe dating myself, but I actually had a black and white television. Couldn't even show color pictures.
Most of my childhood was in black and white.
Aw, you poor young people, old people.
I think the saddest thing was I had it hooked up to my Trash 80, which had the Color Basic extension. So,
but it was still black and white.
But it was still black and white, so couldn't actually use any of the Color Basic. Sorry to reminisce. So the long guard in play, I think the call was the takeout through the port, which is fairly narrow.
You have the perfect view here.
I do. Shall I slide over a little bit?
No, that's okay. I have a great view too now.
Okay.
It's a very narrow port.
Hey, eyes up here, eyes up here. Does not make the port, but that's a great result. Well, that's a pretty good result. Does open the house up a little bit. This is Stacy Sletty throwing, or Schletta, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly now. Throwing her final rock at this end. My apologies, had to perform some percussive maintenance on our overhead cams. Stacy, maybe just a little wide on that shot.
Trying to plug the hole, I think, right? But
yeah. Clips the guard.
And leaving quite a bit of opening there.
So wise decision here. House is wide open. Ooh.
Skip is now pantomiming. the call.
It is cold out there.
It's cold and late.
Yes, extremities not working maybe as well as you would like. We've got a lot of action still tonight. 4 games total. 3 besides the one we're watching.
That's right. Over on sheet A, we have Hefner and Millage. Over on sheet C, we have Andrew and Ben. And over on sheet D, we have Freeman and Stannard.
Red Rock over curling. Not making it in the house at all. Wrecking on the front guard.
All of these teams playing for the right to play on Sunday. I think these are all Lout games, if I'm correct.
Jennifer, all we talk about this open house, there are 2 yellow stones in the 12-foot circle.
Yeah, they are.
And there's 8 guards now.
Most of the guards to the right of the center line.
Mm-hmm.
I oftentimes like to think of rocks in the 12-foot as ornamental.
They are
They're there.
until your last rock, and you're like, oh, my goodness.
Yes, exactly.
The other team is sitting 4.
Exactly. So you might be inclined to ignore them for a while.
At your peril.
At your peril.
Aw.
This is Laura Hewer's first rock. Both teams still try to figure out the ice, figure out the weights. A lot that goes into this.
Line's looking pretty good.
I think it's right in the house, though.
Yeah, line looks fabulous, actually. The weight isn't terrible. Comes up a little heavy. Maybe it will provide an opportunity for a freeze. But currently, Team Heuer sitting 3. Wasting no time with this call. Seems pretty straightforward to me as well. You might as well follow the rock that was just thrown. You don't need to freeze on it. There seems to be sufficient curl that you could end up top 4. You'd still be completely hidden.
Absolutely.
Skip is expecting a full amount of curl, even in the first end here.
Yeah, this is a little more than 4 feet by the broom.
A little bit of a twist on that delivery there.
It's coming in from the outside there.
Yeah, it looks a little light, but they can't touch it yet.
An in-out motion, I'd say. Maybe slid a little narrow. And then you throw back to the broom, which is now outside of your line of travel. Makes the rock run very straight. It's nice to see Judy back in the lineup. We did webcast this team earlier. Actually, I think it was yesterday. The days are running together for me.
They tend to do that in the Bonspiel.
Yeah. Judy was notoriously absent from the lineup, but back with her team.
It was notorious. Scandalous.
Scandalous.
Really? It's just a Bonspiel.
Yeah.
I was just running with it.
Got too much telestrations in you.
True. Calling for a little less ice this time.
Certainly compared to Jen's ice call. It's almost a foot inside. Oh, and certainly throwing a little lighter, too. This looks more like tight guard weight. But look at it move.
Wow. That rock really is curling.
They clip the guard and wind up a nice guard on their own.
That rock stops in a great spot. I'm not seeing much of a draw path. I'd say you can likely throw the in-turn. You will have to be fairly tight to the rock that was just thrown. Assuming you make that, though, you should be able to clear those tighter corner guards.
You know, I'm also seeing a double here right at the center line. Go through the port in the middle and then hit the yellow near the center line, the 12-foot. You're not going to get shot out of that, but
Yes.
might cut the damage down.
I see what you're saying. I certainly wouldn't want to be throwing that.
Absolutely.
It's a pretty long double.
It's a horrible idea. But I always like to talk about all the possible shots.
Yes,
Well-
let's talk about the horrible ideas.
Well, when you talk about the horrible ideas, the bad ideas seem perfectly okay.
So what's the right order to attack that? Do you start with the horrible ideas and work to the better ones, or do you start with the better ideas, ending with the horrible ideas?
I generally wind up talking about the slightly better ideas and then seeing the horrible ideas to convince myself that the okay idea is the best idea.
I see. That's a pretty good strategy, actually. I can't argue with that.
Why not start with the best idea? Then you know what you've set the bar.
Sometimes the best idea is only an okay idea. Sometimes there are no great ideas out there. There's just
Well-
nothing fantastic.
This is stimulating.
Maybe taking a
Yes.
page from your book, this team appears to be discussing all ideas.
There aren't many great ones, so when you're trying to find a great idea, you're like, well, what about this? What about this? What about this?
Not sure what the shot call is. Maybe some kind of a run back played on their opponent's shot.
I almost want to think it's a draw around the high red guard
From the right side.
from the right side.
Oh, Nelly.
That's pretty tight ice for such a call.
Only time will
But
tell.
it's the straight side almost. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We will see what happens when the rock comes out.
Unfortunately, we are not on the ice. We don't have a remote control on the rock, so all we can do is talk about them and then see what happens.
It's easy to Monday morning skip.
Or even just war room skip.
Or room skip, yes. That looks like it's going to hit something, but
Yeah, it's going to clip the yellow guard. Unfortunately, not make contact with anything that can help them. And it's going to wind up a steal of 3 for yellow. So Team Heuer off to a big early start.
Can't help but think there was a little desperation in that shot.
Absolutely.
well, they started with all their options. Well, we've been through this.
We've been down this road. So I'm unfamiliar with this team. Is this team from CCVA?
Team Fox? Yes. Team Fox is from CCVA.
One thing I can say about Ladies Bonspiels is they do bring out the best in costumes and clothing and accessories.
Really?
Great headwear this weekend. I noticed Dom on the sheet next to us with a really luxurious looking boa. Is that what those things are called? I think that might be.
I was just qualifying it as a scarf, but certainly very festive.
Men's Bonspiels are usually happy if everyone keeps their clothes on. So.
Indeed. I don't know. Sometimes you get great costumes at the mixed Bonspiels.
Yes.
When someone on the team has a fantastically bad idea, and they convince the rest of their team to go along with it.
Yeah, I remember back to my first Kaiser, and one of my teammates went as a Playboy bunny, And it was neither of the two female members.
Of course not.
Why go so standard?
I mean, we've seen some crazy ideas. Like, what was the science-themed costume set? I believe last year's Kaiser?
It was schoolroom themed.
That's right, schoolroom.
That
themed.
is true. A certain team dressed up as school accessories like books and ruler and pencils. It was well done.
Now, I do not believe they curled in those outfits, but they were still entertaining.
It would have been impossible to curl dressed as a pencil.
The cardboard was a little confining.
It was a little bit confining. Today I saw a great hat. It was a brain hat.
Oh, we love the brain
The
hat.
brain hat. It turns out you can buy them at IKEA.
IKEA?
That's where they're from.
IKEA.
Yeah, they look like giant brains. You know, the brain of Morbius or some kind of crazy science fiction TV show.
Oh,
but
okay.
Now,
Now,
really branching out, it's not just cheap dressers and Swedish meatballs.
right. Also brain hats.
one of my earlier fellow commentators actually speculated it might have been a extra prop from the set of Mars Attacks.
That would have made sense. It looks like it came straight out of Mars Attacks, but it's a real item you can buy from IKEA. We saw the wrappers.
Love that movie.
It's such a bad movie.
I don't believe I've ever seen it.
If you're ever in the mood for just a bad movie, it's great.
I have that DVD. And for those younger in the cast, DVD is what we had before we had Netflix.
Ah.
Yes.
We're not that young, Mr. Melvin. Heck, I remember VHS tapes.
Oh.
And I never had one, but I did indeed use a Laserdisc player.
Nobody had a Laserdisc player.
I have a great Laserdisc story. Maybe we'll bring up in end 4.
Okay, very specific choice
okay.
of.
Okay.
Is that where we're all heavily drunk?
No. We don't do that on a webcast.
No,
We're simply
we
not
do
quite
not.
socially. No, I'm failing on words here, but we haven't established the proper webcasting bond yet.
Right. The bonding.
Team Fox electing for the draw around the center guard.
And of course, we are still watching curling.
Kind of an unfortunate start for Team Fox. I feel like that then just got away from them. They'll want to get at least a point on the board here. If nothing, in a moral victory.
Absolutely.
And this looks like a great rock.
Fantastic.
Curling nicely.
It's by the guard. Finish. They opt to leave it as high as possible, but it is 80% buried, sitting just behind the tee line.
Notice a lot of guards in the previous end and also a fair number of guards in this end. The ice is a little slower. Maybe they're not really taking that into account.
Possibly. Laura here not really interested in messing around. I think she called for the run back, knowing full well that peeling this guard is also a great result.
Does seem like a little bit of the opposite of a traditional strategy where the team without the hammer wants to clog up the middle and the team with the hammer wants to keep it open. But I guess once your opponent puts a rock on the button.
Yeah, you have a lead and your opponent has a rock on the button. I mean,
That's true.
there's a couple ways to approach that. You could have elected to draw around that rock being back button. There's room to get shot. At minimum, you could get a good shot into the 4-foot and really shrink the scoring area.
Wow, but I definitely see your point where you're up 3. Don't overcomplicate things.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the other team wants to draw the button. Just, let them get one. Just don't let them get more than one.
A certain luxury with scoring more than 2 in the first end is that you can actually say, hey, I don't care if my opponent gets 2.
Absolutely.
That means I get the hammer back, and I like to think about the hammer as a kind of a free point. So if I'm up 1 and I have the hammer, I just assume I'm winning the game by 2, and I kind of play like that.
I like to
Well-
assume that.
Some of us can assume that. Some of us, on the other hand, can't really make that assumption yet.
Well, I should say that I spent a lot of years of that not working out for me. It takes a lot of games lost to generate just a few games won.
This is coming into the house and getting a little tick.
Yeah, I think the line would have been great there, but Stacy just a little heavy.
Team Fox calling for another guard.
All of a sudden, this is shaping up to be a really nice end for Team Fox.
Oh, still plenty of rocks to go. This one's definitely a guard. It's over the hog line.
Still on it.
Dragging it as close as they can. Getting a nice staggered guard out of it. You can definitely still draw around it, but the hits are completely gone.
They've also limited their own promotion opportunities.
That's the only problem with it overlapping, is it does make any promotion very difficult. Essentially now it would be a race to the button if Laura weren't just clearing her guard.
It's a pretty tough stagger. I don't think there's a double peel here.
Nah, something's going to jam and stick around.
Removing both of the reds is possible, but you will leave your shooter as a guard. Instead, just kind of jamming into the back guard. So leaves Team Fox with just off center guard. Their shot rock is open and accessible, but in a somewhat challenging line to get to.
It's definitely hittable, but it's not really possible to draw down 2 shot rock anymore.
That is out of the question, I'd say.
She's looking at the raise here, and I kind of like it.
I agree.
I mean, if you hit it on either side, you're going to raise it into the house. If you hit it on the left side, you're going to leave yourself a guard on your shot rock. If you hit it on the right side, you'll push the existing guard closer to shot rock and maybe wind up nice and even. Either way, hopefully you'll wind up sitting 2. But
yeah, wouldn't even be really important to sit 2 at this point. You could sit third shot or even third and fourth shot.
maybe wind up exposing the yellow in the back of the house.
Exactly, and expose the yellow in the back of the house for later.
Definitely lots of good possible results here.
This rock running straight, not curling yet.
Oh, yeah.
Probably indicative of a little extra weight.
Oh. That got by the yellow?
No,
It
Did get a double wick?
It wicked the yellow and rolled under the corner guards.
It must have. Oh, it double wicked. It wicked off the yellow, then wicked off the red, and spilled to the back of the house. I think that's the only way that rock could have gotten there. Its third shot, and it ticked the guard over just enough where the hit on the red is more difficult, but there is now a possible hit on the yellow in the back of the house.
Yeah, maybe not what they drew up, but pretty good result.
Don't mind it. Not at all.
We talked about the virtues of just opening shot or second shot rock up. And now, now Laura's kind of chasing. She's starting to feel the pressure, identifying that her one yellow rock, which is back 12, is pretty lonely.
Absolutely.
that port is not the widest.
Not at all. And there's even jam possibilities to make it through the port.
Yeah, there's no easy way to make it at this rock. You basically, if you're going to throw the intern, which I think is what she's throwing, you need to play it as tight to the corner guard as possible. The rock will continue to curl after that corner guard. And there's really only about a rock and a quarter, I'd say, of width in the port. So very tight shot.
I'm expecting heavy weight, and I think we got it.
We did, and maybe a little wide. Definitely going to be playing off the guard here.
Which is plan B. If you're not going to make the hit, I think she definitely didn't mind clearing one of the guards, just opening up the shot for her next rock.
Also blocked the hit on the yellow rock sitting second shot.
Yes, she did.
Astute observation, Craig.
Oh, thank you. Harumph.
That does take a bit of the pressure off now.
Yeah, when your second shot is pretty secure,
There are
feel
still
comfortable.
Sorry, there are still some options to remove the second shot.
Oh.
But all of them seem to involve a run back of the center guard.
If this were the Home Hardware Canada Cup, I would really be worried about that yellow in the back of the house. But this is the Potomac Curling Club, Women's Mid-Atlantic.
Please don't ruin it for me. I have it DVR'd. I have not had a chance to watch most of it.
Ah. Well, right now, somebody is playing somebody, and it's something into something. They're in a commercial break right now, so I can see.
Don't spoil it.
I did catch Val Sweeting earlier, who appeared to be beating Jennifer Jones.
She was beating Jennifer Jones.
Jennifer Jones looked very sad, which always makes me a little happy inside.
Are you not a Jennifer Jones fan?
JJ's not my favorite team out of Canada these days.
All right.
On the women's side, anyway.
Are you Team Homan then?
I have to say, when Team Homan first came on the scene, I thought they were kind of young and bratty. Wasn't a big fan of them, and they've really matured in the last couple of years.
All right.
I think the pickup of Joanne Courtney was just a great idea. And Emma Miskew is probably, if not the best, certainly one of the best shot makers in women's curling right now. So that team has grown on me, for sure.
Fair enough. Well, you'll hopefully not too much of a spoiler, but you will get to see them in the final.
That's a total spoiler.
That's actually what a spoiler is.
Yeah. I figured you'd seen at least that much.
Also a Val Sweeting fan. I think that's a great understatement.
Oh! Gets the wick and still makes the takeout, but rolls to third shot position.
Yeah, unfortunate to roll that far, but great result.
Yeah, don't mind that at all. Now Jen does have a hit and sit for two here, but that rock is awfully far back in the house. Changes your line call quite a bit. I'm not quite sure what she's looking at here. It certainly looks like she's calling the run back on the center red, just a straight promote.
This is, I think you're right. I'm not 100% sure what the call is.
So the ice has to be hit weight. I mean, that's not a draw weight, draw ice.
Yeah, it does appear that shot rock is available.
Unless they're figuring they just don't have access to it.
Yeah, maybe
They
the skip identifying a nuance in the ice that we're not privy to.
This has to be, in order to catch the backing there, a little bit of an angle run back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to hit about 7/8 across the nose. And looks like she may have pushed it wide.
They should be looking at that back rock there.
But it's lined up for the back rock.
Oh, dear.
Oh, no, this could be tragic. No. And it ends up only being mildly tragic.
It ended up not changing anything.
I think they The skip saw that shot only a little too late, called for sweeping.
Yeah. Close to making it very well. But unfortunately, it winds up steal for 1 for Team Heuer. They currently lead 4-1 after 2 ends.
You know, a great side effect of this web streaming, of course, it's awesome to have your games cast live for your friends to see. But they're also archived on the internet. You can certainly go back after the fact and have a look at how the game went, maybe rethink some of your decisions. I know I've done exactly that with some webcast games I've had here and elsewhere, and I've also recorded games myself with cell phones.
I agree with you completely. It is wonderful to be able to go back and watch your game and think about, why the heck was I doing this?
Maybe recommend muting it.
Fair enough. Well, sometimes you're like, people tell you, hey, you should really listen to the commentary. And you're like, why? And like, the commentators were talking about you.
As a commentator right now, I can say do not listen to the commentary.
Most of the time, it's very amusing.
This is...
Well, depends on who's commentating. When you have the wonderful duo of Sam Sparks and Travis Hamilton,
well,
that can be very entertaining.
That's a different matter.
This looks to be a hit on the yellow. Rolling over.
I believe this is a free guard violation.
I didn't.
Oh, no, it hangs on.
Yes, it does. That rock. I think that rock was in the house anyways, but.
Oh, okay. My eyes are not what they once were.
It's also not the best angle from way at the end.
Thank you, Craig, for making me feel so much better.
Yeah, it's not your eyes, it's the angle.
Heuer looked to put another guard up. Doesn't mind terribly if it draws into the house, as long as it sticks around. Didn't have much handle on it at the end. Winds up drawing to the top of the forefoot.
Fortunately, Team Fox is forced to chase again here.
They do have a corner guard, so a good hit and roll here could leave them sitting second shot or shot even behind a guard. Oh, I can see from my angle, it really looks like we got that rock moving.
So you definitely started that rock on the curl path, and especially inside out. Once you're over center, it's gone.
Those are my least favorite shots. You, in reality, didn't miss the broom by that much, but the end result is so wild that it makes it look like you just missed horribly.
Agreed completely.
This ice not forgiving of being tight or over-rotating on interns.
Not at all. You may have missed the broom by about 3 inches, but the rock misses the rock by about 2 feet. I feel like there's a song in there.
A country song.
Yes.
Clearly.
A country song about curling. No.
You don't think we could have a song from Minnesota about curling?
Gun racks and curling do not mix.
Says you. I'm sure we could find some USCA curling folks who would disagree with you quite thoroughly, or maybe one of the million curlers in Canada who live in rural areas and have moose in their backyard.
Classic blue state curling hogwash.
I stand corrected.
This is BJ Paulsa throwing for Team Fox. looks like the call is to draw into the center of the house behind the yellow cover.
Yep, plenty of room to squeeze shot rock even.
It's moving tight, though. It's on the guard. And a little light.
Struggling to find weight there. That rock comes up just a little short. Team Heuer electing to draw around the rapidly accumulating mess.
You add one more to that pile, and it's going to be quite a mess that will be basically impossible to remove by the time Skip's rocks roll around.
This one will hang out there, though.
Little wide, fine weight, nice tight guard. I think it does leave the draw path open to the middle, but makes it awfully tight.
Certainly shrinks it down. All part of kind of constricting the scoring zone, which is your primary goal when you don't have hammer. You want to reduce the amount of house that your opponent can use.
Absolutely. BJ Paulson with her second rock. Might wind up with a tick and roll off her own.
Certainly does. That rock not lacking in weight.
Not at all. Punches everything through.
They were trying to clip out that shot yellow.
Could have got a few licks with the broom in, maybe made a better, more controlled roll. Instead, rolls through the house. Does leave a draw path for Heuer, should she opt to take it. She may decide to just occlude the draw path here.
We'll certainly go on the draw path, and if you're a guard, great. If you're top 12, fantastic.
This is definitely a guard.
Hopefully a guard.
It's
May not even be in play. Oh.
Put a quarter in the pig.
Got a Potomac showdown on sheet C to Liz Andrew and Kendall Beam. Unsurprisingly, a tight game there. Looks like 2-1 after 2 ends in favor of Liz Andrew.
No, I think it's Beam right now, but they just finished their third. And it looks like a steal of one.
You are right. Stand corrected. Joining us from home, from your PC or Macintosh, live stream does have a chat feature. Feel free to pop in any messages. Just say hi. Ask for updates from sheets. I think we'll even accept some mild trolling.
We can always delete the comment.
We have our chat room staffed by a very able person. They're ready to answer all questions.
We do strive to provide excellent customer service here at the Potomac Curling Club Web Streaming Foundation.
It's more like, please, talk in the chat box.
No, we don't want to sound desperate.
No, I think we do. I think we do.
The draw from Team Fox coming up light. Just mingling with the other guards in front of the house at this point.
So Team Heuer still sitting 2 in the back of the house. There are plenty of draw paths available to get to the 4-foot and outcount those. So Team Fox not in a lot of trouble just yet.
On the other hand, Team Heuer is looking to block some of those paths.
Uh-huh. Fortunately, they can't block them all.
Just like tight shots can mingle with guards in the front of the house, tight friends can mingle with us in the chat room.
With that kind of witty banter, how can you not chat in the chat room?
I think I broke Dobbs.
Going to have to send him back for factory repair.
You were getting out on a bit of a wide line here.
Hang a little straight. Maybe offering a bit of a hit and roll.
Currently sitting 3, none better than half 8.
This is quite a bit of a roll to take, but I suppose there's a catcher there, huh?
There is a large roll. If you hit only about a quarter of the rock, you will end up in the pile of yellows in the back of the house.
I'm a little surprised Jen's opting for the hit here rather than the draw. That certainly looks like the ice call.
Opting for the wide hit over the draw, which is also another possibility. There's no wrong answer in curling until the end is over.
As long as you make the shot, it's never the wrong answer. Unless the question is that shot even available? Then the answer might be no. The rock is certainly not narrow.
And it's hanging out there again. And
unfortunately, it rolls out.
Sort of job 1 accomplished, but really wanted job 2 accomplished as well.
Yeah, I think the primary objective for that shot was really stick around.
Yes.
You know, whether you draw, whether you hit, you really needed to be in the house. Laura setting up the broom a little tighter, trying to draw in or block the draw path again.
Always a little doubt in your mind after you've missed your first shot. You wonder, did I just throw it bad? Did I have the broom in the wrong spot? And did I hit it? Did something strange just, happen to my rock? All these things definitely play a factor, make draws should be easy, maybe a little harder than they should be. Curling's mainly a mental game, and so overcoming those.
Well, I should say once you've mastered the physical, then it's a mental game.
Very true. The physical part, not that difficult. Certainly hard, but not unachievable. The mental game, however, is figuring out just how you screwed up that last shot.
The rock
Little
appeared
more
to
challenge.
be curling off the face of the planet there.
It does not make it into the house.
Does not. Great positioning, though. Team Fox will have to be careful, even though it may appear to be plenty of house on the outturn side. Last thing they would want to do is tap that yellow rock in for a steal of 3. Would put the game all but out of reach, I'd say.
They're looking on the left side.
Absolutely.
With,
I like the left side.
Backing.
Exactly because you have backing. I mean, if I were playing this, I'd look at 2 shots. One is this, the left side draw. The other would be the center line raise on the red rock. My only concern about the left side draw is it running too straight? The answer should be it's not. But we're not out there on the ice, so we'll see what happens. And the problem with this line is if you actually throw T-weight, you're probably going to crash on the guard. It's got to be a heavy draw here.
The ice is tight enough here that I suspect they're not going to be light, or not intending to be light.
Absolutely. I would expect at least hack weight here, probably bumper. Because your plan B is double the yellows out.
Yeah, if you're a little wide with bumper weight, may not be quite enough to get both rocks out.
There's the rock.
Looks like it may go maybe just a little wide.
It's a little wide.
Oh, that one's not coming back. That's out in orbit.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it's all the way on the edge of the house.
You can see the exasperation in her face. She knows it already.
Another steal of 2 for Team Heuer.
Really need a change of momentum here.
Fourth end underway. Heuer ends up with a center guard, which maybe not the first choice. Up 5 and all, or 6, sorry. However, now that it's there, Judy will attempt to come around. have the audience supplying me with refreshment. What more can you ask for on a Saturday night? Oh no, what we got in the black? Sorry for vanishing down a wormhole. If you're disturbed by the vision of darkness, let us know. We've arrived at that part of the Bonspiel on Saturday night. Some teams still alive, waiting to play their semifinal or final games on Sunday. We have games out on the ice right now, vying for that position on Sunday. We have other teams that are done playing for the weekend, taking team photos, enjoying a few libations.
At least not all C-event players now.
C-event players on the ice currently?
I think that may be the case. I may be wrong, though. In which case, it's a long slog to the final. We'll be playing again tomorrow morning and then, well, I guess tomorrow morning and then the final, right?
Yes. The final tomorrow, 11 a.m., I believe.
11:30.
11:30.
That was a question mark, not a firm statement.
We will be live, of course, so feel free to tune in. Maybe drop a couple messages in the chat box.
I'm assuming there that the house is completely clean again.
Currently nothing in the house. Staggered guards, though. Not a great situation, I would say, for Team Heuer, if I had to nitpick. Staggered guards make it very hard to play any kind of run back if something comes around the guards. Certainly one way to counter that is to win the race around the guards. Now that's exactly what was called here. However, looks like the shot is going to come up a little light. There's now 3 guards in front of the house. All of them from Team Heuer. So we've reached the phase at the end where the first team into the 4 foot is likely going to score.
Team Fox would like it to be a multiple if they can help it.
They sure would. And they can definitely engineer that, given the house they've been provided by Team Heuer. A good draw around here would afford them probably a free draw to sit 2.
Fortunately, could not keep that in the house.
Yeah, that rock coming up halfway to hack. Not at all what they were looking for, really. So now Team Heuer will try to find a way behind these guards. This rock does not have the line.
Also somewhat heavy. Maybe this line is a little fast for them.
Maybe. I stand corrected, though. It actually curls a ton at the end. Kind of lost handle. It started to fall more than anything towards the center line. Ends up not fully buried, but at the far extremes of the house.
And a minor threat for Team Fox.
Really important for Team Fox to have a good one here.
Oh, bit of a spill there.
Acrobatic delivery. Not sure if that was intentional.
Somersaulting, is that, maybe that's a new Olympic curling event.
End result, unfortunately, is the rock carries through the house.
Pretty straightforward end, this end. Everybody racing to get into the center of the rings. Well, Melvin, you criticized the staggered guards, but in that case it worked out okay for Team Heuer.
Yeah,
a little promote option there.
I suspect that was a plan B, maybe not the intended shot.
I think you're probably right.
But the result, all the same, really good. Still plenty of guards in play, still plenty of forefoot to be had. Even though Team Heuer is sitting 2, the best they can do is a rock that is still biting the inside of the 12-foot. So we're just really 2 good rocks away from a multiple score from Team Fox. And we're not going to get it with this rock, unfortunately. Over curling early. Almost negotiates a port that was not even in the same reality as we are.
But that red is frozen onto the yellow, which might leave an option for Fox.
It does. The end result is not bad. It opens up shot rock. I'm sorry, no longer shot rock on the back of the house. This draw path, though, certainly available. You come the inside of the corner guard. So inviting, that 4-foot. Just want to land a rock there. Also so inviting, the chat room. Feel free to drop a comment, suggestion, or even a rant.
Rants, welcome. First skips rock away.
Stacy leveraging visual cues as well as vocal to indicate sweeping. Great idea. In the end, Laura's shot, maybe not the intended result, but certainly a good one, shrinking the scoring zone. Yellow sitting 2.
Now that the red rock is a little bit irrelevant.
There's still plenty of room at the inn, as long as your inn is the 4-foot.
Using hotel analogies for curling.
Indeed. And just like your favorite hotel, we also have a comment box.
But our comment box is interactive. You will receive a reply if you drop a comment in the comment box. Fox's first rock away.
My initial inkling is this rock is a little tight. Sweepers are exercising it hard. I think they came off recognizing that it's over curling.
Or rather light.
Good point. Line actually not terrible. Just a little light, about 15 feet or so.
Team Heuer looking to block access from the other side now. Here getting set up in the hack.
This looks like a much better line.
A little heavy though. Oh, actually quite nice.
That is actually perfect weight.
Textbook.
Yeah, sitting top, but there is the inn is officially closed. There is no room left.
But you can still leave a comment.
I'm not sure. Nose hit does appear to be available, and should that shot be shown or thrown, Team Fox would be able to sneak out of this end with a score of 1. Definitely do not want to give up another steal at this phase. This rock appears to be a little wide. The weight is certainly sufficient, but reluctant to curl. kind of a tragic conclusion to end for.
Three under.
Another steal of 3. I gotta say, 9-0, even after 4 ends, starting to look like this game might be out of reach for Team Fox.
Folks, in the chat room, tell us what games you're interested in that are also playing tonight. We have Hefner and Millage on sheet A. We have Andrew and Bame on sheet C, and Freeman and Stannard on sheet D. That might tell us how we drive our coverage tonight. Tell us in the chat room which game you're interested in.
I have to say there's a bit of a grudge match going down on sheet C. That's the Andrew Beam game. Liz Andrew and Kendall Beam.
That does look like a grudge match. I see a lot of 1-point ends there.
Yeah, a lot of hard-fought ends, I think. Tight score. It's currently 3-2 in favor of Team Beam. Team Beam also with the luxury of hammer in the 5th end. Both of those skips very experienced. I will say that this game has been solidly in control of Team Heuer. Done a really great job of managing the game thus far. Put the rocks in great position. Managed to, even without the hammer, to acquire 9 points. Laura Heuer, a curler at Potomac, as are all of the ladies on her team. Laura's been having a great season so far. Really has been on kind of the cusp for the last few years. And this year, really kind of coming into her own. She's recently advanced from the 2nd tier into the 1st tier in our competitive league. That rock pops into the open, revealing a bit of an opportunity for Team Fox here. Center guards are staggered. They're not going anywhere in terms of run back. So good hit and roll here. Would result in a rock that require Team Heuer at least 2 rocks to get rid of.
Instead, Fox crashes on a guard.
I do believe you are right, Mr. Lawrence. We will address that with Mr. Melvin as soon as he steps back to the commentator booth. Although, to be fair, we are past that particular end, so maybe time has gone too far.
That's true. Yeah, I was going to ask about the 4th end story. When he mentioned the 4th end, I remembered 4th end story. This point in time, Yellow Rocks, I think, are just looking to play a clean game.
No reason not to. Just gets by the Yellow Shot Rock.
still left guards to draw behind and rocks to draw down to. So, but I think they're just asking for a removal of the yellow. Seems they need to use every rock in play that they can.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, they've also kind of been bitten by having complicated ends. So if you have a chance to just keep it clean, get a point or two, that can feel very good.
Fair enough.
BJ with a little bit of a push on that delivery.
I think she's on it.
They got to stay on it, though. Gets the hit.
Oh, will they stick around? Yes, they will.
Yes.
Just pretty wide out there, though.
But progress.
Progress. Team Heuer wastes no time going after the red rock that still is in the house and is shot.
They make contact and keep their own rock in the house in the back of the 12 foot. Jen thinking about her options here. Asking BJ what she'd like to do. BJ says, give me the same call again. Let's just take it out.
A lot of room to roll behind cover back there. That's if they're really trying to remove.
They're just trying to take it out. It's curling hard at the end here.
Oh dear.
Oh. Just goes through the house without making any contact with the red rock, or sorry, with the yellow rock.
Can be very frustrating to have that rock run away from you like that.
Because you know it's on it, and you know once it goes, there's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing you can do.
This is Stacy Sleddy here with her first of two rocks.
I guess a little tap-up goal here. No.
I don't know what that was.
I don't either, because ends up changing very little.
Yeah, I'm assuming it was trying to just peel the guard, and it overcurled on them and stuck around instead.
But she kept down the sweepers. Could have pulled the sweepers back if they needed to peel that out.
Yeah, tried to just let it curl past, peel it out the other way. Well, here is Alex, vice for Team Fox.
Their tuck, she's quite low and just uses a broom flat on the ice.
Alex is very bendy.
Well, it helps to be that too.
Really close to getting by the guard.
Unfortunately, too much curl.
It's just too light. If that rock had 5 more feet on it, it'd be fantastic. Buried in the house behind the yellow.
I think that's been somewhat of the story of this game.
Yeah.
As shots have come up light. I'll time a few rocks. I saw Melvin timing rocks earlier.
Laura calling for the peel here.
timing rocks that are reasonably fast.
Wow, that was a takeout.
It was, yes. Just no, I'm talking about the previous shot that came up short.
Okay.
23 seconds. Hog to stop.
Okay. Yeah. Probably means about 23 and a half, 24 to tee, so perfectly acceptable.
Two and a half. Hog to tee again, so reasonably fast. It's not slow ice.
First rock at the end for Laura here. Yeah, I'm at the air temperature. Temperature is so low. That's why it's so slow.
We were just having a side conversation. It's ice temperature is reasonably high, but the air temperature is pretty frigid.
Really?
Yeah, so it'll be...
What is it out there?
It's below freezing now. I think it's about 30 degrees.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Normally it's like 38 out there.
Yes, it's 33 degrees.
That's pretty cold.
It was... the trend started, we had a two-sheet game last end, and a lot fewer people out there, and allowed everything to cool off quite a bit.
All right. I'm telling we need to get some gas heaters out there when there's only two sheets going.
It's not a bad idea.
All right, first rock for Jen Fox here. We'll see if she can put this one in the house. She's got a little bit of backing if the rock hangs wide.
She may use it.
The rock's hooking hard now. Oh, got to keep it around the guard. Maybe get a little wick and roll in. Flips the guard, but rolls towards the back of the house. Right on the tee line.
Just as planned.
Sure, why not? Good call on the vice there. Getting those people on to just wick the guard instead of crashing on it. With this ice call, it looks like Laura is not going for the takeout. It looks like she's going for the draw, or maybe the heavy draw, just tap it back a little bit. I'm not too surprised by this. You know, you're up so much that there's, maybe you want the hammer back. you're tired of stealing and you want the hammer. I can understand that.
Maybe a little of bad, not really bad feelings, but
Just courtesy.
yeah, courtesy. You're like, maybe I've had enough points.
Oh, I think they've sent that one into orbit again.
It looks a little wide, yeah. It's just a touch heavy, too. She may have been going for that heavy tap, but it just hung out there. Goes right by the red rock. Winds up in the back of the house as I think third shot. It's pretty close. Jen quickly saying, put the broom back in the same spot. I'm going to draw in for 2.
Yep, pretty reasonable draw for 2 here.
For those peeking at sheet C on our camera, there's a lot of rocks in the house. Currently, it looks like red is sitting 1, but there's 8 rocks near the center line. 6 of them in the house. We will watch Jen throw. Oh! A little bit of a fall there. We'll see if the sweepers can save this, but it looks a little wide and heavy.
I think if the sweepers maybe got on this, they could salvage it.
It's close. They can
Sissy
split
ready.
off a shot. Split off a shot and sticking around for 2. Good recovery, Jen.
That's the new strike.
On the board is Jen Fox and her team from CCVA. Score is 2-9.
Every skip loves the deuce.
That's always the goal.
Maybe a chance to recover here a little bit. Reground yourself.
The 6th end now.
See people dancing on the ice. They're trying to keep warm. It's a little chilly out there.
I've heard that from quite a few people this spiel, that especially today, it got cold and stayed cold.
Right. The weather outdoors is pretty chilly. It's gone below freezing outdoors, and it's about 33 degrees indoors.
Woo-hoo.
I haven't actually been outdoors since about 7 a.m., so.
Sounds like a typical ice crew experience. Well, we certainly appreciate all your work, Melvin, and we'll get you some sunshine tomorrow.
Screw that, I'm going to bed.
We don't need to help you with that one, so don't let us get in your way.
Oh, sheet C just eliminated 2 yellow rocks. I'm not sure if that was hammer.
That was not hammer. Now, Bem does have hammer in this end. So she's sitting 3 with 1 rock from each team. Oh, nope, sorry. Kendall is yellow, actually.
She is yellow. This is her hammer shot.
Yep.
Oh, no, I think there's another red one there.
Red has hammer. So Kendall is in a bit of trouble this time, actually. Red is sitting 3.
She had been in the lead 4-2 up to this end. Now red is sitting, I believe, 3. Yes?
Absolutely. Yep, that's right. And given the ice, I think she's going for the double here. We will keep our cameras here on the warm room end so you can take a peek. Vice and Skip calling them on. They get around the guard. Pop.
They left Jam and left red sitting.
Red is only sitting 1 right now. Yellow's new rock is out counting the back red.
But that second shot is also sitting wide open for the hammer shot here.
Absolutely. You know what? We're going to go ahead and swing our cameras over to sheet C real quick. This could be a very important end in that game. They are almost a full end ahead of our feature sheet. So once again, this sheet we're looking at right now is...
It's Liz Andrew versus Bame.
Yep. Is it Bame? I thought it was Ben.
Bam, I'm not sure.
Well, Liz Andrew is throwing red rocks, so we have Dawn in the house for her. She is looking to do a hit and sit for 3 here. Liz comes out of the house.
Sweepers are not on it, but they're close. The rock is close.
It's just a touch wide. I think that's going to be 1 red.
Yeah, just 1 red, I think.
Sure not 2.
It's awfully close. We'll have to wait and see what they hang. But in the meantime, back here on, wait for it.
Sheet B.
Wait for it.
Jerry.
Sheet B.
I thought that was a trick question.
No. Had to wait for the cameras to pan. Back here on sheet B, Jen has thrown up a center guard. Laura has 1 yellow corner guard way off on the side. And we have just finished the 5th rock of the end.
I've been keeping tabs on our feature game and confidently say that you didn't miss too much. Pretty routine. Team Heuer, happy to keep the house clean.
Now she's going after guards.
Well, you're up with a hammer, so keep it clean.
As I mentioned before, I like to consider having the hammer a point, so if you use that logic, Laura Heuer is currently winning by 8. So she's feeling comfortable, happy to peel guards. Game on sheet D just concluding. Roaring applause in the warm room.
Freeman and Standard on sheet D. I'm not sure we know the score because they took it down right away.
Yes, they did. One would presume it wasn't that close because they should have just finished the 6th end. Our wonderful chat room host is telling us that it was probably a win for Stanton because at one point they were up by 7 points.
On sheet C, we do see that Team Red hung 2. So the game is tied at 4 apiece after 6 ends.
That is Liz Andrews' team.
Liz Andrews' team, yes.
So tying it up.
It's not a gimme at this point.
It's turned from a hometown friendly to a hometown brawl.
That tends to happen. This rock is a touch wide, flies right through the house.
Team Fox having a little bit of an opportunity here.
Definitely a give me a guard situation.
Yeah, really no other option here without hammer in the 6th end. You have to go for the steal. You have to steal multiples, but it all starts with stealing one.
It's over the hog line. And overcurls a little. Eliminates the outside in hit, but leaves the inside out.
The right side to miss that shot was definitely a little light.
Oh, the weight was fine, absolutely.
The call was a little tight to begin with.
Little inside out hit going on here.
Yeah, Stacy making this look routine.
She really is. Little hit. And flop over to the other side of the forefoot.
Not an easy shot coming inside out there. Both teams have been struggling with gauging the curl, I'd say, near the center line.
Agree completely. She made that look easy, but I think we all know that on this sheet, in this game, that was not an easy call to make. You really had to have confidence that your thrower was going to hit the broom perfectly. This one's over curling just a bit.
Oh, dear. Slid
Ah.
right through.
The only gear higher than really hard is really, really hard. Fortunately, not even that doing it.
I don't know. I've always thought that that higher gear is when the accents come out. The native Bostonian, the English accent.
Oh, I thought it'd be like, that's a spicy sweeping.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't make me do accents. The only accent I do is the old Italian chef.
You sweep it like I churn the butter.
Yeah, I'm going to vote let's not go there.
This is okay.
What accent would you like us to try to call sweep in? Why don't you put it in the chat box?
Why don't you just tell us which accent we should use?
And be sure to use the accent when you're typing into the chat box.
Hit this into here.
We are on the first of the skip rocks here. That means 2 rocks left for each team. Jen looking to draw into the house here. And I do believe we have a request from the chat room from our lovely friend up at the Chesapeake Curling Club. We have a request for a Russian accent. So how would a Russian say really, really hard?
It's true. We sweep hard in Russia. We sweep on ice like we sweep on boats.
This is kind of cheating because I watch curling all the time, so I see Anna Sidorova.
Sweep, sweep.
Sweep! Da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da! Da-di-da-di-da-di-da! Shush.
I think that's a caricature. That's not an accent. That's a...
Fair enough.
And good job from Julie.
I have some colleagues that are Russian, so I've studied the Russian accent. You have to say "oh" like "oh."
Oh, like
Oh,
oh.
like you don't say ocean, you say ocean.
Oh boy, what happened?
I'm not going to stop you.
I didn't ask you to.
Hit, roll. Okay.
It's actually a great, da 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 da. It's like yes, 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 but perfect. Sounds a little like yada yada yada, but
Sweep, yada, yada, yada. Sweep, yada, yada.
I had a
Well, the next time you're on the ice, you can skip that way, Mr. Markowitz.
I had a quantum mechanics professor.
You can stop right there. I had a quantum mechanics professor.
I
Done.
did. He would, every time he wanted to just extend his thought, he would say da, da, da. He was very specific about saying all the das in a row.
Removing the danger rock. Sorry to bring up curling.
It's all right. I was about to nudge us back in that direction anyways.
Okay,
That was a...
After going to quantum mechanics,
nicely executed takeout.
looks like we had a burned rock, though.
Oh, dear.
That's coming back.
Oh, dear.
we'll have to have somebody in our live stream replay it and see if they can see the burn and then comment in the comment window.
Could that be the turning point in this game?
You never know.
You mean more comments in the comment room?
Well, for a while, we were having no comments in the comment room, so
Nice.
we know where that goes.
Isn't that no comments in the champagne room?
Yes, that's where I was going. Jen communicating with her vice about where she wants the shot to wind up, and she is going, after she picks up her broom, to try and draw to the tee line in the 8-foot circle.
Second time she's dropped her broom this game. Maybe sensing a conspiracy here. Her opponent's potentially greasing the shaft prior to going on the ice.
The fix
Or
is
her
in.
hands could just be cold.
Or it could just be that it's 30 degrees out there. And it's actually 30 degrees.
It's a bit chilly to be a skip out there. You want to dress up in this kind of temperature.
Rock is away right down the center line, right where she had the broom. Trying to get this one into the house. Needs to bite the white. They're
Maybe,
awfully close.
Nope.
Just short.
Needed a bit of that grease on the bottom of that rock.
That was unfortunately Jen's last rock.
Great effort by the sweepers, though.
They tried their hardest. So we keep an eye on sheet C here.
A lot of rocks in play again on sheet C.
A lot of
Ton of
rocks in
rocks.
play. It looks like yellow is sitting one.
There's a pile of red. I think red is actually sitting one.
It's close.
It's hard to tell. All you can say is on curling now.
Looking at the overhead, you're all right, Michael. Yellow is sitting one.
And that one is behind plenty of cover. So it looks like red is thinking about raising something in.
Looks like any raise they do, though, is
It's a very
double.
tough. Yeah. Back here on sheet B. Laura's second attempt at this takeout is away. Sweepers are staying off of it. They've got the hit.
Probably just trying to avoid the jam on the yellow in the back.
Yep. Rolls out. And it'll be 1 point for Team Hero with a hammer.
Jam averted. She'll be happy with her single.
Well, we're going to swing over to sheet C again to watch this final rock here. Actually, this is the final rock for Team Red. Yellow has the hammer. as our cameras update. Give you a peek at the house real quick. And the rock is away.
Yellow has hammer. I think you did say that.
Yes, I did. But definitely worth repeating to keep our viewers up to date.
Oh.
Makes a very interesting raise.
But it's not enough. I can see from the overhead
Yeah.
that it's just a few inches short.
Yep. So yellow is still shot, but yellow has hammer. So they're trying to find a way to get 2 out of this mess, because they would love to be up 2 with that hammer. Up 1 with that hammer is still okay, but not as commanding.
This is the 7th end. They're coming into the 8th end. Really want to make their 2 at this end to have a decisive win. Otherwise, they may be looking at a tie.
Indeed, up 1 without is not bad at all. But up 2 without is so much nicer.
Yes. For sure. Potentially might not even need to come into the 8th end. Pull out a little early. They put some points on the board.
All right,
Glad
Kendall Rock
this
is
is
away.
This is a family operation here. They're looking
Oh,
to.
this rock is over curling completely, and it's going to crash onto the red. Just let it die. Just let it die. No harm. Bem does get 1 yellow out of this. She will be up 1 without hammer, entering the final end. The score is 5-4. Bem over Andrew, but Andrew has hammer. Back here on sheet B. Heuer does have a score of 10, and Fox has a score of 2. We see 2 rocks for Heuer already in the house. And Jen is looking to draw behind.
Right in. Bruce okay. Or, I mean, right in. Guard's okay. Sorry. That makes a difference. All right, this is the one
Sheets A and C in their 7th end. Sheet C just starting its 8th end.
Sheet C is definitely playing up to speed here.
Maybe that's the experience of Kendall
And Liz.
and Liz, both used to playing faster games,
Absolutely.
a little higher level.
When you're on the clock, you got to watch that time. This, however, is a friendly spiel with a little bit of competition, so there is no clock, actually.
Sort of impressive given the number of rocks that were in play on sheet C.
Absolutely.
That rock coming up short.
Leaving Jen an opportunity to hit and roll behind those 2 guards on the left side of your screen.
Yeah, not sure that exactly what Heuer wanted.
Okay, whoa. Line's more important than weight right now. Yes.
This rock appears to be over curling already. Maybe
already
maybe a
passed.
case of maybe a case of just turning that rock in on the release.
Case of the tourneys.
Is that from like Inspector Gadget?
I've heard a case of the heavies and the outsides.
I don't know. A case of the tourneys sounds more like the Hardy Boys.
Yeah,
Yes.
you might be right. If I may digress for a second, I did see the new Inspector Gadget.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, somebody really could have just taken my heart and torn it out of my chest when I saw that. Loved Inspector Gadget when I was a kid.
Absolutely.
And it's just an abomination what it's turned into.
I'm assuming you're talking about the reboot of the TV show.
I'm exactly correct, yes.
Excellent.
I did not
Although
even know there was such
the
a thing.
live-action movie wasn't very good either.
With Matthew Broderick from how many years
With
ago?
Matthew Broderick from however many years ago, yes.
Did get a great comment from the Peanut Gallery. Not sure it's actually worse than the reboot of Garfield.
Oh,
Wow.
Also terrible.
yeah. Well, the Garfield show wasn't that great to begin with.
Yeah, I guess. But there just does seem to be a thing with destroying the childhoods of people who grew up in the 80s and 90s.
Well, of course. I mean, we invented the internet, so that was pretty much a given.
Al Gore actually invented the internet. But minor correction there to your facts.
I guess we popularized it. But anyways, comment came up earlier, Melvin, that we missed something we promised the viewers in the fourth end. Your Laserdisc story.
Oh, my Laserdisc story. Unfortunately, it's not that great of a story. But I'm glad we have some listeners actually paying attention out there. I had a friend who had a Laserdisc player, and it was amazing that I had a friend, both, and that friend also had a Laserdisc player. So I guess these are two really great things. Only had one Laserdisc, however. That being Days of Thunder.
Oh my gosh.
So I have probably seen Days of Thunder no less than 140 times. Because
oh my.
we watched that just endlessly, being the only Laserdisc that we had in the collection. Laserdiscs were great. You had to flip them over halfway through the movie.
Absolutely.
Nicole Kidman also was excellent in that.
Right, that's one of the Tom Cruise trilogy, right? Cocktail, Top Gun, and
It is right
Days
up
of
there.
Thunder, right?
Days of Thunder. It really wasn't until that movie that I really understood drafting.
Fair enough.
Took a few matchbooks, I believe, and the inside of Nicole Kidman's thighs to make that really sink in for me.
Well, this is more family appropriate, but my favorite memory of Days of Thunder is actually Paramount's King's Dominion, because they made that movie into a motion theater ride.
Ooh.
And that was fantastic.
Ooh. I was never on that ride.
Oh, especially when you come out of the draft and accelerate, they slam you back in those seats, the surround sound kick it in. That was an experience. And then, of course, they followed it up with James Bond. I mean, you couldn't go wrong with that.
Yeah, fair enough. To this day, I can't remember. I haven't seen Days of Thunder since I was about 16, maybe. I can't remember if it was a good movie or if I just want it to be a good movie because I spent so much of my life watching it.
I mean, wasn't it just Top Gun in a
And
car
race
racing
cars.
formula?
That's rubbin', son, and rubbin' is racing.
I'm going to take that as a yes.
I don't know.
This is certainly a downweight rock here. Back to curling, of course. It is gonna stick around. They're gonna sweep it into the house. Not quite. Winds up a tight guard. So currently red sitting 1 here on sheet B. Red is unfortunately down 8 points, so they really need to score here.
Yes. This would be Laura Heuer's first rock of the end.
Draw to the outside.
I think that's what this ice is. I really can't imagine any other shot call right now.
Indeed, that red rock in the house is pretty well completely buried behind the guard.
Yeah, your only hope of removing that thing would be to throw some kind of a run back. Certainly doable.
I'm a little surprised she's not opting to draw behind the center miss, but
it's maybe a scoreboard shot. You could draw away from the center, and if you sit close to the 4-foot, you're forcing Team Fox to deal with that, probably with the takeout.
she's close to the guard.
Yeah, this rock curled an amazing amount.
Does clip the guard, does not push it in, but rolls to the 4-foot, exposed.
Yeah, actually talking, or ended up in the spot that I was kind of talking about. It's wide open for sure, but keeps Team Fox hitting. And with hitting comes the increased chance of a rollout. So
Fair enough.
as opposed to just having the free guard or free draw on the guard.
Well, a quick update over on sheet C. We are down to Skips Rocks, and yellow Bem is sitting 1 behind a couple of guards. She's looking to either do it again or plug up the draw path.
Now this looks like it's got the legs to make the draw.
Too many legs, no?
Stacy and Rainey working this rock hard. Massage it into the top 4.
Unfortunately, the only problem with that rock is it opens up the double on their shot rock. Back here on sheet B, Jen Fox makes the hit and sticks around.
So nice nose hit executed by Team Fox. Sorry, drew a blank there for a second.
Well, and it looks like Team Heuer is going to go with more of a down weight hit, maybe even just a freeze to that shot rock, or the straight draw. There are a lot of options with that ice.
Nice retort on sheet C by Lizandra.
She made the hit but didn't make the double. Winds up sitting shot and leaving a jam possibility if Kendall tries to take this out completely. Back here on sheet B, Heuer makes the tap and roll towards the center, but doesn't push anything out, leaving herself exposed with Jen a chance to get 3 out of this if she makes the hit and stick.
Yeah, maybe a little let off there. This rock will be fully exposed.
Great shot over on sheet C. Kendall is now sitting 2 under cover, 1 in the 4-foot.
I don't know if we have video evidence of that, but squeaking by 2 center guards within a inch or maybe inch and a half to make a inside the nose hit
And roll to the center line.
and
Yep.
roll back to the center line, sitting top 4 now. Really great shot.
Forcing a draw, no?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see any other option.
This is the last rock of the game on sheet C.
And here on sheet B, it's the last rock of the 7th end. Jen's rock is away. Snoopers are staying off of it. I think she's got this hit and sit.
Yeah, really forces a tough one here.
And Jen makes the hit and sit for 3.
Ooh, great
Gonna
shot.
Switch cameras real quick and get a peek at sheet C. They need to make this draw perfectly.
Oh, looks like they may be promoting yellow here.
There by the guard. Oh, just come up a rock short.
Foot and a
My
half
goodness.
at the most.
And Ben will move on to the semifinals tomorrow morning at, I believe, 9 a.m. or maybe 8:45. We should look at the draw schedule. Back here on sheet B, the score is now 5-10. Technically, Fox is still in this game. We have seen scores of 5 in this event before, even in the 8th end. Certainly hard to do, but definitely possible.
Yeah, we're kind of talking about this last game. There's really no rule of thumb, no framework for stealing 5. You basically have to get some guards in play, get some rocks in the house, and hope for some misses from your opponent. And that's the best you can do.
Yep. Jen telling her team to put it in the house.
I hear partially deflating your rocks might help them stay in the house. Not condoning that.
Certainly not. Laura saying that rock is not a free guard zone rock. Quickly opting for the takeout. This rock is moving on out. They do make the hit and roll to the corner of the house. For those of you keeping an eye on sheet A, it looks like the score is 6-3. Millage over Hefner right now, and Millage has the hammer.
Our coverage tomorrow begins at 8:30.
Woo!
Yes, early game tomorrow.
That is early.
8:30 draw for the semifinals, and then 11:30 is the final.
I hope we'll see lots of our, or hear lots of our, well, not even here. I hope we'll chat with lots of our audience tomorrow morning.
You know what? It would be amazing if we had a large chat tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's really better than talking or even seeing people. Is just being able to interact online through text in a small box.
Absolutely. There's time to think about your response, edit your spelling.
All very important things.
Absolutely. Or at least my English teacher would think so. Back here on sheet B, Team Heuer makes another takeout. Jen quickly running out of rocks. She has 6 rocks left and needs 5 of them to score to tie the game.
Got to make every rock count now.
Wow, every rock always matters.
Well, except the ones that don't.
Yeah, no guards in play. It's going to be hard. Hard to see a way to engineer a steal of 5 here.
Yep. Well, Jem went for the just put everything in the house line of thinking. And
I may have lost count. How many rocks are left in the shed on the far side for
well,
red?
after that rock, there are 5 red rocks left.
Okay, so we are rapidly approaching the point at which all of the rocks will have to stay in play. Otherwise, the game will be over.
I think we're there.
Well, there's one in play right now that could be taken out.
Yeah, and actually, Heuer may be doing a bit of a favor to Team Fox here. Playing this shot, especially inside out, could actually jam on the rock in the house.
She's letting it curl and gets a just outside the nose hit, punches it through the house.
Yep, that's not the mistake.
Not at all.
There's a little cover on viewer's left side.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a guard.
And a little bit of something to maybe freeze too. You have to hang on to something when you're in that position.
If there's a rock that can help you, use it.
Hold on to the dream.
But get it in the house.
Don't hold on to the rock too far or too long.
That is a
Awfully
really
heavy
long
looking
slogan
rock.
to live by.
This rock is slowing down and sticking right on the tee line.
Yep.
It's in the house. It's what it needs to be.
Settles in at a good depth. Unfortunately, free for all the world to see.
Yep. Laura quickly putting the broom down, calling for an upway takeout.
Signaling Janice might have been a hair wide.
But the rock comes over quickly. Makes just enough contact and pops it out of the house.
Should be a mathematical end to the game. But Fox electing to continue the game.
This might give the Heuer rink a chance to brush up on their spinoramas.
Spinoramas are both surprisingly hard to do, and once you get the hang of it, surprisingly easy.
Yeah, it's about convincing your body that it should spin in a circle.
Folks, I'm going to sign off for the night. Wish you well and see you on the morrow.
Thank you very much, Craig.
Good evening.
We do have handshakes over on sheet A. Team Millage defeating Team Hefner. We will see Team Millage tomorrow morning at 8:30.
I think Patty Hefner recognizing she's mathematically eliminated from that game.
Yep. She only had 2 rocks left and needed to score 3. You are again going for the takeout here. This one again moving awfully quickly. But they still make the hit and roll out of the house.
Pretty much textbook there.
And unfortunately on this sheet, we are now just waiting for the inevitable.
I'm reminded of that old classic Gremlins where when in contact with water, they multiply. Can't help but wonder if Team Fox doesn't want their rocks to multiply when they arrive in the house.
That would certainly be an interesting thing to see on a webcast. However, I'm not really sure that Gremlins qualifies as a classic.
Maybe you haven't seen Gremlins in a while.
Maybe in the same way that all those MST3K movies qualify as classics.
On my last rewatch, I did find it odd that even though there's a ton of carnage and murder in that movie, never once do you actually see a dead person.
Really?
Yeah.
They all get bitten or maimed and then fall off screen to die.
And then it's clever cutaway to Gremlin,
Smiling.
rejoicing, smiling. The old lady flying through the air on the chair that goes up the steps.
Oh, and we do finally have handshakes here on Sheet B. So that will be Team Heuer defeating Team Fox. We will see Team Heuer tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m.
That will be Life defeating Melvin. I'll be happy to go home and get some sleep.
Sleep. Well, we hope that you all have enjoyed this webcast from the Potomac Curling Club featuring the Women's Mid-Atlantic Bonspiel here at the National Capital Curling Center. We hope you'll join us tomorrow morning at 8:30 where you can be nice and toasty warm under the covers and watch us on the internet. So, signing off from the Potomac Curling Club, thank you to Haley for being our chat room operator, and thank you to Elvin for commentating with me. We will see you tomorrow morning.
See you later, folks.